Title: Ferrari 812 Competizione. The last great front-engined V12 battle cry. Some Ferraris are famous because they change everything. Others are famous because they perfect something just before the world moves on. The Ferrari 812 Competizione belongs to that second category. And that is exactly what gives it its power. It is not merely another fast, limited Ferrari. It is one of the last and most extreme celebrations of a naturally aspirated front-engined Ferrari V12. Built at a moment when the industry was already tilting toward hybridization, turbocharging, and an entirely different future. That gives the 812 Competizione a special charge. It feels less like a car arriving casually and more like a masterpiece arriving with timing. Ferrari itself described the 812 Competizione as the ultimate expression of the extreme front-engined berlinetta concept. That phrase matters because Ferrari has a long and glorious relationship with front-engined V12 road cars. They occupy a noble part of the brand's mythology, the side of Ferrari that is not only about mid-engined exotica and Formula One references, but also about grand, powerful machines with long noses, huge engines, and a kind of aristocratic violence. The 812 Competizione takes that lineage and sharpens it until it almost becomes something else. The numbers tell part of the story immediately. Ferrari's naturally aspirated 6.5-liter V12 produces 830 CV, and the engine revs to a staggering 500 RPM. Ferrari openly stated that this was the highest output, road-going engine in the company's history at the time. And the highest-revving Ferrari road car, V12. Those are not small details. They place the 812 Competizione at the summit of a bloodline. It is not just another V12 Ferrari. It is one of the definitive statements on what a Ferrari V12 can be when engineers are allowed to chase the last. Most intoxicating margin. That engine is the soul of the car. In an era when enormous power can be made through boost and electric assistance, the 812 Competizione chooses the harder path, and in many ways, the more romantic one. A naturally aspirated V12 has to earn its drama. It has to breathe, rev, and sing for its power, rather than simply summon it through forced induction. That is why cars like this matter so much to enthusiasts. They do not merely accelerate, they perform. Every extra 1,000 RPM feels like another layer of commitment. Ferrari re-engineered key elements of the engine to get there. Lighter titanium connecting rods, a reworked crankshaft, redesigned pistons, reduced internal friction, and serious work on the intake system all contributed to the new red line and the higher output. These are not cosmetic enhancements. They are the sort of changes that reveal how deeply Ferrari wanted this car to be more than a styling exercise. The 812 Competizione is a mechanical escalation, not just a branding exercise attached to an existing flagship. And yet, it is not an old-fashioned car. This is where the Competizione becomes especially interesting. It is a love letter to a classic Ferrari formula, but it is delivered with modern intelligence. Ferrari fitted the car with independent rear-wheel steering, advanced dynamic systems, and extensive aerodynamic development. The result is a machine that respects tradition without being trapped inside it. The old magic remains, but it has been sharpened by contemporary engineering. Its aerodynamics are among the most striking parts of the story. One of the boldest design decisions on the 812 Competizione is the replacement of the traditional rear window with an aluminum panel featuring vortex generators. That sounds almost outrageous the first time you hear it. Ferrari deleted the rear screen and used the area for aerodynamic purpose. It is a perfect symbol of the whole car. Utility yields to function. Convention yields to performance. The result is not just visually dramatic. It announces, with total clarity, that this car was built with unusual seriousness. The front of the car is just as purposeful. Ferrari reworked the front splitter, the brake cooling architecture, and the way the car manages pressure through and around the body. The entire machine is trying to generate more stability and control at high speed without losing the elegance expected of a front-engined Ferrari. That balance is hard to strike. Hypercars can afford to look alien. A front-engined Ferrari must still carry a certain lineage in its posture. The 812 Competizione manages both. It looks aggressive, but unmistakably Ferrari. It helps that the base proportions are already among Ferrari's best. The long hood, compact cabin, muscular rear haunches, and tight overhangs create a shape that feels powerful even before the special series details are added. In Competizione form, the surfaces become more technical, the tail more distinctive, and the whole car more intense. It is not simply prettier than the 812 Superfast. It is more focused. It looks as though the standard car has gone into training and returned with visible intent. The exhaust note deserves its own chapter, because Ferrari clearly understood that an extreme naturally aspirated V12 Ferrari cannot afford to sound merely adequate. Even with the challenges of modern emissions hardware, Ferrari worked to preserve the engine's acoustic character. Adding visible exhaust tailpipes and resonator solutions intended to maintain medium-high frequency sound and preserve that uniquely thrilling Ferrari V12 timbre. This matters more than people outside the enthusiast world sometimes realize. A car like the 812 Competizione is remembered as much by what it sounds like as by what it does. And what it does is extraordinary. Ferrari quoted 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.85 seconds.